Hey guys, welcome back to the International 3 group stage. We're going to be watching Navi versus Zenith Game 2. My name's Purge. I'm here with Luminous. We are at the Beyond the Summit studio in California. It's wonderful here.
You want to tell
of
them
the
our
air
address
conditioning.
too? Or?
I mean, I was really close. I was like...
You know, a lot of Purge soccer out there just taking out their notebooks right now.
Yeah, man, I saw those comments.
Yeah.
I'm looking right at you.
Well, this is actually a very important game for Navi as well as Zenith because these teams, respectively, Navi sitting at 3-2 record and Zenith at 2-3. So for Zenith, if they could even out the series at 1-1, they'll finish 3-3. Not exactly what they're looking for in a day one performance, but in a very tough group like that, that's not really a bad score. Whereas for Navi, if they don't go 4-2, I think a lot of people out there will be like, what the hell is Navi doing? Because they should be going 4-2. In fact, they should be going 6-0 in this group. I think that's what a lot of people expected. But for them, they need that 4-2 record by winning this match.
Yeah, Fnatic's beasts, but I think they can take Zenith. I definitely think so. At least based on the last game, it didn't look that difficult for Navi. If anything, it looked pretty casual. I mean, it's pretty typical for them to play a weird play style, but they were definitely pulling it out effectively. Are you drinking all the drinks?
I got this myself.
Oh, okay. He's
My
just
shake.
they got food for everybody, and he's on cup number 2.
Yeah, man.
So,
I mean, I'm casting the most, right? So I
Yeah, that's
deserve
true.
that extra cup.
those extra calories, you'll need 'em.
Well, we're going to see Weaver once again. And if you guys missed game number 1, just tuning into this particular stream because you want to watch Navi game, you missed out on one of the most amazing performance from Weaver and from Havos. It was just really solid. Single-handedly carried the entire team from a somewhat early game deficit. But let's see if we could do it again. Meanwhile, we're going to see OD and Visage once again for Zenith.
Well, we'll see if it can do more than the last game. What is Navi's answer going to be? Do you think it's going to be a Shadow Fiend again? I mean, it worked last time. They could just easily gank the Shadow Fiend more. They killed him once mid, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they did.
And then they gave up because he stopped being there. He was like, okay, let's give up the mid lane, go farm the jungle. Maybe they'll ban a Shadow Fiend, though. I mean, Navi gets 2 picks here. I doubt that we'll see Zenith draft the Shadow Fiend. So, I mean, they've got the same heroes. Darkseer, Weaver. I don't think they care. They don't have Visage, but...
I guess so. We saw how Shadow Fiend got shut down in lane, and sure, he got the recovery in the jungle, but that was more so of Navi creating space for Dendi, and you can't just count on having that type of mid-game always, right? So perhaps they feel like, alright, SF got us the win, maybe we don't try again. Again, I always think that Weaver on a mid in a 1v1 against OD is okay as well. Obviously, OD...
Did you say Weaver?
Yeah, Weaver. 1v1.
Really?
Gemini attack. The 6 base armor on OD makes it really difficult for him to get that harassed. And he will start losing mana in such a way that he can't even Sakuchi. So that is an issue. But I definitely seen in the past where pro teams have tried Weaver against OD mid with like mixed success. So, but let's see if Navi's going to do this. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that sounds a little iffy to me. And besides, Havos plays Weaver so well. Who cares? Just give it to Havos. Let Dendi suffer a little bit. He does a nice job suffering, even in matches that he should lose really heavily. We just saw it a couple days ago. Dendi had a lot of trouble, I think, versus a Puck. I believe it was against Kaipi, I believe. He had a lot of trouble. Or I guess that was defense finals, but has a lot of trouble early game, comes back later. Doesn't even look like he had a bad early game, and that's pretty typical of Dendi as a player.
I'm suggesting Weaver mid, so I could have a Pudge safely. Because Pudge mid against OD is just not happening.
Jody.
Pudge against OD is just not happening. So, and I want to see a Pudge, right?
So it's like 1 banish and you can cast 0 spells.
Yep, and you get outlaned horribly by OD.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could rot him, but he'll just banish you and walk away. I mean, OD has a pretty good advantage in that one. So.
Well, maybe we're not going to see a Pudge this series, which is breaking everybody's heart. What about Zenith? What are they going to draft? Razor is one of their go-to hero. In fact, I think they picked Razor practically every game that we have casted them in. Yeah. And they banned it up themselves. So Tinker is a possibility. Hopefully they don't just suicide lane him anymore. What else do these guys play? They have wacky strategy. We've seen them play Axe in the past. They play things like Timbersaw.
They themselves banned Alchemist, so we won't be able to see Ice carry their team that way.
Juggernaut is one of their go-to hero as well.
Really?
Yeah, Ice usually play on the long lane all the time. But he's not their long lane player anymore. XY is. And in fact, XY so far has not been turning heads in terms of playing really good off lanes. Because every time I see him play off lane, he's been dying quite a bit.
Yeah, I haven't watched too many other games before today, but he definitely did feed a lot on that Windrunner game.
Yeah.
But they still won, so it's okay.
Well, last game was a little bit of a stretch, so let's see if Zenith is actually taking quite a bit of their reserve time thinking about this particular pick, maybe angling for a particular direction of how this game is going to go. But what Navi is strong right now is they're really good at laning, I think. Weaver is going to give you that strong lane in terms of either staying alive against aggressive trialing, or if you sense weakness, like against a Tinker, for example, you just go for kill. Darkseer is going to give you good lanes, and Chen is going to give you that good lane in the jungle, getting that EXP, getting that gold. So there's a line being picked up. That's something that we don't see too much.
They burned a lot of time to do that, by the way, but probably their main goal is, number one, Line is one of the best disabling heroes in the game. As a support, he is usually a little ineffective. First of all, pretty low HP, pretty low base armor. He takes a lot of levels to be effective. He gets really good starting level 9, essentially. He'll have his great Earth Spike, his Hex will be a long duration, and he'll have Finger of Death. But even if you get him to 6, he's pretty happy as a hero. And Hex does do a pretty good disable at low levels, but the main goal is they'll have enough disables where they should be able to shut down Weaver.
Yeah, I really don't like him as a support because I think he truly shines once he hits level 11. And as a support, you rarely get that kind of experience gain early on to hit 11. And the reason between hitting 11 is that your Finger of Death cooldown gets so much better. That level 1 Finger of Death is really good nuke. It's really high damage for a level 6 ultimate. But at the same time, the cooldown is like, it's
goes from 160 to 100, and then 40 seconds at the
It's such a long
level.
cooldown at the first level. You just use that thing on the mid lane or wherever, and you feel like, when is it ever coming back off cooldown again? It's longer cooldown than average.
Yeah,
by
doesn't
comparison.
scale very well, though. It's only 125 damage extra.
Well, I guess the cooldown is more important for it, but
Yeah.
it depends. Zenith is also one of those teams that like to take fights very frequently and very aggressively, and not having a Finger of Death during your skirmishes could be a big drawback. So now it's Puppy's turn to kind of go into the tank, as he has about 5 seconds of reserve time.
Yeah, they're spending a lot of time drafting this round. They
It's
will
the
grab
Shadow
the
Fiend
Shadow
again.
Fiend again.
Yeah.
So Shadow Fiend likely to be mid against the OD. Weaver will be safe lane again. Darkseer off lane. Chen jungle, and all they're missing is one support. Rubik hasn't been banned yet, but if I was Zenith, I would immediately ban him as soon as they take their pick here. Don't
have
let
to
the
ban
Rubik
off,
through.
yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be Kuro's hero 100%. It's their best support. He can make team fights. He would love to steal any of Line's abilities, except for Mana Drain. Screw that spell.
Right. Any of OD spells are okay. Any of Visage spells are decent. Gyro spells are okay as well. So yeah, you gotta ban that Rubik, because if not, that thing's getting picked so fast.
If not Rubik, what do you think? Ogre Magi, right?
No, that's Alliance's hero. That's Alliance's support. I guess Kuro, he's only playing Visage or Rubik. I haven't seen him playing anything else, right? Have you?
I don't think I have. Can't. It has to be a ranged
He plays
disable.
Lina sometimes. Too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lina, but they need a setup. They don't have a setup yet, so they definitely need a range disable. That's one thing that they're lacking a bit compared to last game. Last game they had a
Earthshaker.
they had an Earthshaker and they had a Visage, which
yeah.
is some range disable, pretty good range disable. They're gonna be lacking that heavily this time, but they will be able to take towers really fast at least. And since Zenith hasn't drafted their offlane yet, looks like they're banning a bounty hunter. They don't have enough range disable, so they don't want to deal with it. Very wise.
Zenith is looking for a ban. And, well, are they going to not ban something?
I think they're just going to random it. It's got to be Rubik. I would ban Rubik myself. I think that's
when you
likely.
time out like this, there's actually no ban. So,
2.
they ban out the Earthshaker.
I don't know if that would have happened.
I'm not sure as well. I mean, I haven't seen Kuroki play the Earthshaker. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that he can play.
He can definitely play 4 roles. When he was on Mouse, I believe he would play the 4 position, so he'd play Chen and Enchantress very often.
Okay.
So he definitely could have played the Chen and had Puppy on the Earthshaker, but Rubik. Guys, chant Rubik. Come on, this is the only way
Rubik.
that'll come through. Rubik. 10 seconds to Rubik. All right, 13 seconds to Rubik.
They're like, can we work a Pudge?
All right,
Jakiro. That is not a Rubik.
It's a 2-headed Rubik. That's exactly what we thought.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have spell steal, but it's definitely Rubik.
So less reliable on disables is one problem here, but he does have a lot more damage output, I would argue.
Yeah, he does. He has better AoE defense against tower as well.
Yep.
Well, maybe not level 1, because Fable is actually pretty OP. The range of it.
Plus, you can do vacuum on ice paths. That's really nasty.
That's pretty sick. Yep.
You can also do whoever gets banished by OD, set up the combo immediately afterwards.
Sure.
So
there's a lot of utility for this particular hero in the game, and let's not forget he pushes decently as well. If ever people does scale that liquid fire, I think people are losing value by not selecting it. But Enigma is going to be the final pickup here. I'm surprised because Enigma against Vacuum, it's going to be hard for him to land it against Ice Path. But once he does have that BKB, though, he is king in terms of landing that big black hole, and there's nothing for them to cancel it.
I think this is an offlane Enigma as well, because they don't really have an offlane hero. Ice is playing support line. X Freedom is playing Visage. So I think this is an offlane Enigma. He may just start in the jungle and they'll do like a defensive tri lane with a mid. I don't expect them to go aggressive, even if it is. Yeah, if it's a Weaver with a Jakiro and a Chen, that's not safe to tri lane against. Like Weaver is not a hero that you're going to be able to kill easily, aggressively. So I was hoping that Zenith would have just one solo or one single support in lane. That way it could be Lion getting a lot of pull EXP, but one of those guys is going to have to sacrifice, and I assume it's going to be Lion over the Visage.
Yeah. Well, actually, Lion needs more levels, right? So
I would agree.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's. I don't know. It's hard to say. He's not as good at harassing because his armor's lower. But
I was actually hoping for something like a Broodmother last pickup for Zenith, because we've seen in the past where your Broodmother sends the Spiralings in the jungle, and your Lion gets like the EXP in the jungle. But
oh yeah, that's right. That was pretty cool.
It's pretty cute strat. But Zenith goes with a better or more safe long lane in the form of an XY Enigma. Let's see how he's going to be playing this game. Yamate is going to play his Outworld Destroyer again on the mid. Ice is going to play the support line. We have Freedom on Visage, and Ice on the Gyrocopter.
I don't anticipate this to be an offlane Enigma. If there is an offlane Enigma, usually you have regen and some stats. He has a bunch of money in the bank. He hasn't spent any of it yet. No courier, no wards, just 3 clarity potions. So at the very least, he can jungle. I just don't think he wants to start in the offlane, simply put. Will they grab anybody? It's going to be Havos spotting out Ice. They will know that the enemy team is here, and I think they're going to be fine. So we'll go over Na'Vi really quick here. For the Radiant, Puppey is going to be playing Chen. Havos is on the Weaver. We've got Funnick playing Darkseer. Kuro is going to be playing the Jakiro, and the last player is going to be Dendi on the Shadow Fiend. They are currently up 1 game versus Zenith here. So if Zenith wants to take it 1-1 in this best of 2 or this 2-game set, then they need to pull out the stops here.
Yeah, again, this is a very, very important match for both teams. Na'Vi, if they win this one, they finish their day in 4-2, which is not good, but not too bad for Na'Vi. Whereas Zenith, if they win their match, it's going to be 3-3, which in this very competitive group, it's not a bad score for them to have as well. So double damage is going to get snagged by Havos on the long lane, or on the bot lane. He's got to be very careful. And yeah, XY is going to start up in the jungle. The fact that he saved like 460 gold, I wonder if he's going to be doing anything, like a big burst of item purchase a little bit later on. But
are you speaking about the Enigma?
Yeah, the Enigma.
I mean, Soul Ring first is obviously the go-to item for Enigma, because you can use it every time you cast Demonic Conversion. It'll keep your mana pool pretty full. So wait for 30 seconds. It costs 800 gold. Once he gets that, he can be well on his way towards another major item. And that's one of the things I like most about Enigma, is that his farming is so easy in the jungle. I mean, it's not absolutely cake, but for any pro player, Enigma jungling is very reliable and very easy. Yeah,
there's like specific jungle paths where you could accelerate, but I think one of the fastest timing that you can get it on is like 4 minutes to hit level 6. But right now, I think the most important creeps we need to talk about is the creep on the mid lane, the damn Harpy Storm, because it is winning the lane now for Dendi.
Yeah, it's a really lucky pickup. The downside is that it's going to cause Puppey to not be able to farm that much himself, but if that does give Dendi an advantage in the mid lane, it's going to help a lot.
It's definitely giving him advantage, because now Dendi's got like 4 last hit in a row, the 5th one coming in right now. He's going to get the 6th one as well. And Dendi, well, he's back in the lane.
That is insane, guys.
That Harpy Storm just won the lane for him.
Yeah, think about the last game. Dendi had, what, 2 last hits when OD was working with about 6, and just with a little bit of sacrifice on Chen, they can all of a sudden give Dendi equivalent damage to OD, and that's what's happening right now. He's hitting for about 70 damage, OD's hitting for about 74, and he's going to be able to actually break even in this lane.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that he's like, look at the damage on Yamate. Yamate doesn't have a salve, so he's going to be off the lane for quite a bit. If he stays for a little bit too long, this thing also has like an insane cast range. He's forced to get a salve, and that thing almost... Harpy Storm? No!
Don't die.
Oh, he didn't get it. He even missed a deny on that one.
The ultimate sacrifice, giving its soul to Shadow Fiend. So Puppey can resume playing his actual hero. Oh my god, look how lucky he is. He also gets stacked Wildkins, which means he can just tornado this to catch up for the EXP that he lost. Like, what lucky stacks going on?
Ain't luck, all skill.
Yeah, he did it on purpose, guys.
Yeah, meanwhile, by the way, talking about stack cams, we also have a pretty big stack count over here. Funnick is going to be getting himself a little bit of XP. Maybe Shadowfiend's going to come out with a couple of raises. Whatever the case is, Na'Vi is... What's that?
Or Puppey.
Or Puppey, sure, yeah, with that tornado. But yeah, whatever the case is, we're going to see some Na'Vi members accelerating further ahead in terms of experience. Not even a single kill is happening so far. Is Zenith getting enough out of that top lane? Because they're definitely having a couple of free farm supports, but these supports are only level 1. What's going on here? Lion level 1.5. Okay, Visage 2.5. But at the same time, I feel like Lion has... He needs to be at like level 3 soon.
Yeah. They have been stacking and pulling some camps, which might be why, but honestly, all the lanes are pretty easy. I mean, essentially, the only lane that's actually contested by 2 people is the mid lane. So, unless you guys want to watch other ones pull and stack camps, I guess we'll just watch mid, huh?
Yeah. I mean, there might be a little bit of tower pushing on the bot lane coming very soon. And let's see how good the rotation is coming out from Zenith. I really like the Wild Wing Ripper as a pushing creep because it basically adds a Ring of Basilius to your team, right? It's +3 armor for the entire creep wave. It does decent damage to the tower, and they're now working on against it.
So the Iron Shells are now clearing up the creep waves. Sonic's going to be able to power level from this a bit. Used to be a lot easier using a smoke, but and Navi is now pushing on the bot lane.
Yeah, there's 0 rotation being made. We don't see Enigma coming in. And I think that's where having a hero like Jakiro is a little bit more effective than having Rubik. Rubik sees a hero behind a tower. He can't do a damn thing. But Ice Path obviously has a little bit more range. It comes out a lot quicker as well. So the initiation is there. There's a tier 1 tower. And there's just, because of the 0 rotation, they could even go for tier 2. I think Zenith gave away way too much. And they haven't got anything in return.
Yeah, they can't push nearly as fast with these heroes. They have a Visage, a Line, and a Gyrocopter. Sure, they can AoE, but I mean, this is not Jakiro, this is not a Chen. Like you said, the 3 armor on the Toughness Aura, plus the Ring of Basilius. This is a Vlad's in the early game, and look how tanky these creeps are. Yeah.
And finally, we see Enigma making that rotation, but the damage has already been done. There is, like, well, this tower is already taking, like, a 1,000 damage, but more importantly, that tier 1's going to go down. Havosi's even farming those Eidolons in the lane.
There's the Ice Path trying to catch him. He's going to Sakuchi pass. He'll have to Malefice this guy, I think. A couple more hits, and XY is just going to stroll on out. Another Eidolon falls, and this tier 2 tower is gone already.
I mean, generally, you see Western team making rotation with the off lane and a support. That rotation came way too late, and the support didn't even come. So, 2 towers goes down. I guess the only saving grace is that XY is okay. He's not dying right now, and he's getting some farm. But as a Weaver, Havo gets to sit here and just keep harassing XY. I don't even think XY is going to get EXP. Too much of it, at least.
And he does have to worry about getting dive constantly. Like, he's got a Malefice, but that's it. It's a very limited disable compared to what Weaver is going to be doing. So, Havos will have to come back and farm the jungle. Not the best hero for that, especially just picking up an Aquila now. So, it will cost him some EXP potentially, but I mean, if he can get a solo kill on Enigma, he's going to be really happy. Or even just kill the Eidolons. They're not too difficult. Their armor is fairly low, and he's definitely going to be hard to kill.
Yep. You do see the Line trying to make a rotation gank to the mid lane, but Line early on, he's just so damn slow, even with boots of speed picked up. But obviously, you do have Yamate to set you up with the Astral Imprisonment first. But they need to find the correct angle. And then he says, man, forget that. I don't see support heroes up top. Let me just go in the jungle, raise a couple of neutrals, and be A-okay.
So Line now level 3, shifting back top. Since Funnock did get his bottle from the jungle, he is pretty self-sufficient. He's going to pop it again for more mana, and Ice is just kind of deliberating how to get in there. I mean, he's got his boots picked up, so he's relatively fast, but Line's a slow support. They'll need a lot of disable to pick off the Darkseer at this point.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that they even made that gank attempt. It's such a low percentage play. They need to keep stacking. They need to hit 5 or even, ideally 6 on those supports, and it's just not happening right now. OD is not winning the lane nearly as hard as he did last game, and I think he is going to be going for the mech for the team now, because I guess in theory, your Enigma could get it as well. Yeah, it seems like he's going to get it, excuse me.
Well, he did pick up Tranquil Boots. I mean, they're pretty good in the early game. Because
yeah, he's probably going to dispel that for a 4-staff later on.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're probably right there. So Dendy's still sitting in high ground. He definitely doesn't want to go in the middle of the river. It's where you're least, most vulnerable, actually. Can't really see any ganking supports.
All right, take that back about the 4-staff. He buys a headdress recipe, so it's going to
be miscommunication, possibly. No longer do Buckler as well as Mech armor buff stack, so
okay.
That was patched recently,
he then sold it again, so Yamate trolling all of us. XY is going to be picking up the headdress, so
okay, good.
The great mystery of who's buying the mech is now somewhat answered. We're still not sure yet,
One person. Only one person will be purchasing it. He can definitely make a 4-staff with it. It'll be fine. Well,
it's a very, very slow passive game starting, and I think that Zenith is losing the kind of the EXP war. If we just want to look at the EXP path, graph, excuse me, it's kind of all over the place right now, but Chen, to me, is the little bit more important hero hitting level 6. And on the opposite end, Ice is not close to it. So, well.
Oh, some damage on Freedom here. Phonic just going to... Oh, that was with an invisibility rune. That's pretty funny. Cast a Diamond Shell, use the Invis, look for some kills, and almost picked him up. That's always a scary feeling. You're like, why is my HP going away? And you're like, oh, there must be an invisible ghost with an Iron Shell on it.
The game is bugged. I'm losing HP.
Yeah. Who's hacking? Somebody's hacking.
Yeah, the big difference between this game is that it feels like Zenith, they just don't have any angle in terms of initiation. They do Astro him right now. Anybody's going to come in. The Wild Wing Ripper trying to do a little bit of body block. There's a Malefice, and that's 3 stun for sure. The Hex is going to cold through.
Oh, great Ice Path. Dual Breath as well, and there's the ulti. Ice is actually going to go down.
Wow.
He was not able to get the Earth Spike. Great decision-making from Dendy, and he's back in the fight. There's the Black Hole, but Dendy doesn't care. They all go down. 3 dead heroes, and this is a Tier 1 that is in dire trouble.
Wow, I mean, this is the second game in a row where Funding has gotten Wall at level 6. What is your thought on that? Like, it's a spell that costs a ton of mana early on, and a lot of Darkseer players just skip, says, you know what, let's just max for Vacuum. Like, why even take Wall when we don't have Vacuum? But we've seen it to be somewhat effective just as a nuke early on.
Yeah, I mean, it does 150 magic damage. It's going to create illusion, which people might run into, but most importantly, those are also going to right-click. And it doesn't do a ton of damage. It's 70% outgoing per illusion, but even if we look at Lion, for example, this is still doing 30 damage a right-click, at least. It's more like 35, something like that, which is pretty reasonable. There's no other way for Darkseer to do 150 damage in one skill point. There, oh, great banish there. You see a Maleficent up at Curl. Here comes the call down. Great stun on him. Curl's in a lot of trouble. There's the heal. Will he be sent back in time? Nope. Puppy does not have the mana for it, but we will see Gyro fall for that, so absolutely worthwhile trade.
Man, it's Hovos with the Iron Shell just going ham on everybody. Got the kill on the Gyrocopter. Got the kill on Nigma. Might have to pay for it. Let's see how good the Impale is. The Impale's going to whiff here, and Hovos gets to live and fight for another day. He might take that fight right now, though. He sees you support running back to Tier 3. And, alright.
He's like, here, guys, look at me. I'm still here. Come on, try it.
Okay.
He picks up an Ogre Club first. Possible BKB rush. He sees the Lion, then he knows, I have to get this fast, because I got lucky there, but if I don't have magic immunity early on in this game, I'm definitely gonna die.
Yeah, magic immunity just is key this game against Gyrocopter magic damage early, against that line, against that Malefice, which is really annoying. Of course, Soul Assumption, of course, OD, right? It is just the perfect item for him to pick up. Yep. He might lack a little bit of damage as a result, but we saw how much he did with the Perseverance, and just show that he doesn't really need much more than that in terms of damage output.
So Phonix is going to shift over. There is a regen rune on the top lane. He's going to be very happy with that, especially since his mana is gone. And the rest of Zenith is trying to regain some control. Yep. Wow, that's their base.
That is their base.
Is that an ulti?
Nope. No, it was just right click. Yeah, blink, a couple rays, and the Hulul's chasing in for the last hit. Yeah, you're not even safe in front of your tier 3. Dots Zenith?
Bad situation to be in, that's for sure. 6-1 currently. Can they come back from this? Dendy has a 3-0. He had an amazing start, mostly because of that Harpy Storm. He's got his Blink Dagger. He has Treads finished. Decided to grab Treads before BKB this game. Not as threatened.
What a rebel.
Yeah, no kidding.
OD is going to have a very... Until he gets that 4-staff recipe, which he, in theory, should just pick up right now. He's got 1,000 gold. Maybe he wanted to keep Tranquil for a bit. The cool thing of using Tranquil and OD is that there are some times where you pop a Tranquil, you could pop your own Essence Aura for a proc. Yep. So it's a pretty nice benefit to have.
Even if you're full mana, or full HP that is, you can use it.
But I don't think mana is the issue right now. But he is saving a pile of gold with that Staff of Wizard right now.
And he's going a slightly different build than last game. Did he go 3 Astral before grabbing Orb, or was it 2? I think he went 3. He went 3 Astral while grabbing Orb, so we'll see if he picks up Orb next. He definitely had a more early game damage build.
Yeah, I think he felt, at least compared to last game, that this game is not going as well.
Yeah.
The gank mid, not only did they not get the Shadow Fiend kill, they resulted in everybody dying. The rotation from Na'Vi was on point. And, well, here comes XY. Just wherever he goes, he gets found by the Havos. Well, I think they are going to get him dead this game. The Hand of God comes in right now. Is he going to get that first kill? They don't. And XY, some sort of a revenge kill, I guess. Ice is going to hit himself up to level 5 after that gank. And to be honest, he should be jungling with these Eidolon to level 6. Nobody getting the EXP. The value, it's being lost.
It's okay. Ice is going to snag it here. Picks up level 5 from the Weaver Death.
All right, all right.
Really, really good for him. It was an awesome black hole. His teammates were able to get there in time. The Hex as well as the Impale came. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Weaver almost had his BKB as well. He's about 800 gold away from it, but ends up dying. But it's okay. They got a tower. It's going to make some of it back.
I mean, right now, Na'Vi is so in control right now. They're leading about 7,500 gold. And that means we're going to see quick mech on Chen. He's already got it. That means your Arcane boost should be up very soon on Jakiro, about 400, 300 gold away. See
this Ice build? We got a Hand of Midas on Gyrocopter.
Why not? Yeah, he's got it quite early.
Not very common, but apparently feels comfortable with this. He needs more GPM. He needs to be able to contest Dendy. With regular items and fast BKB, there's no way he'd be able to do it.
I think having Chen on the enemy side gives you you can see that it's on cooldown and he's just not using it. And right now he's going to pop one, so it's just somewhat added incentive. Kuroki in huge trouble. He's going to drop off as much nukes as possible. And more importantly for me, aside from Ice getting a kill, and now the Chen creep's going to get blown as well, is that Ice hits level 6, and that is kind of the breakout point for him.
Level 11? Oh, Ice. You mean Ice? Regular Ice.
Regular Ice. Ice 1.
Guys, got confused.
It's level 6, and he needs that level 6 badly.
Yep, so this gives him a 600 damage nuke. It's a 160-second cooldown, which is very high, but considering the difference between level 5 and level 6, he now has an extra free 600 damage, so they can burst people down, especially the Weaver will be a target, things like that.
Well, we have see Dendi farming away with the Wraith Band on the ground. It's a little bit awkward. He's bottle crawling, not bad. And Dendi is going to be going for the BKB. We talked about how BKB just blocks literally every spell coming out from Zenith. So I think what we're going to see is Na'Vi play it somewhat passive. And once they find those BKB, they're going to just go hard. But maybe they're going to start off with a pick-off against the mid lane. Yamate.
They're going in. There's the Iron Shell. Will we see a Surge? Nothing quite yet. And there's the Banish as well. Weaver going to lose some mana. Might see a stun.
This is the second game in a row where Funnick favors going for the Blink Dagger really early. Last time we saw him to go mech first because there wasn't a mech carrier, but your thoughts on a Blink? Generally, we don't see this until much later in the game.
They have such a big early advantage, though, so I think they can definitely afford to do this here. Oh, Havo sees the money.
Oh.
Will he take it?
He'll get those money now. XY, the micro is...
Oh, man, the money. Double bird drops. Nothing else comes from it. We actually have Ice a bit far forward here. He's got his Midas up in 5 seconds. He's going to be very happy to find some Chen creeps on the high ground to use this on.
Yeah, he's actually just purposely saving that Chen creep activation, the Midas activation for Chen creep, which I guess it's a double-edged sword. You're farming for 30% attack speed item, and if you're just using it for kind of irregular creep pops, I don't think it's...
Hey, that was off cooldown for 1 second.
Right, no, but the previous one, he was just waiting for it for like 30 seconds, which, you know, that's questionable. Back in the top lane here, Yamate's going to TP back out. Good TP. Nobody's there to really punish him there. But BKB is, on the other story, is almost going to be done. Dendi, once he finished the BKB, I think that's when Na'Vi decides to go for big pushes.
I wouldn't blame him. I mean, he can do a Blink ulti, guaranteed. The only thing that can stop him is going to be
Black Hole.
A Black Hole.
Yeah.
Which they've been on point all game from XY thus far. He only has mech as well as Soul Ring, so his HP is pretty low, but as long as he doesn't get initiated on, he should be okay. He also has to worry about Ice Path, by the way. It's another just thing that Na'Vi lucked out with. Their last pick was a Jakiro, and the last pick out of Zenith was... Where did that die?
Wow, somebody's courier.
Yeah, oh, I think Kavos got that.
Well, they say the Elgato courier won't die, but...
It's gone forever.
It just did. Gone for 3 minutes. Meanwhile, Havos is just scouting everybody out on the bot lane. He's going to TP.
Where's all of his money? Doesn't he have more?
Is that at the BKB flying to him? Yeah, he's got a BKB.
Oh, okay, the recipe's on the courier, I was going to say. Yep. I was like, man, he's lost money. TP's coming mid. It's going to be Shadow Fiend. Will he blink after? He will actually. Couple hits. Takes him right. He might actually be in too much trouble. The Rocket Barrage is a lot, and he's going to ulti this one. Cancels it. And immediately back to farming.
Oh, and then he's got to have to raise this now. This is like a very intense, random moment in the jungle, and then he's going to get sent back.
Fight over the small camps.
I think Zenith is really in trouble simply because, well, they're down by a lot of gold and experience, but they also don't really have... Oh, they do get a free pick off on the top lane against Jakiro. They just feel like they can't really push that well. It's always Na'Vi that's kind of say, hey, the fight's going to happen here. We're going to be pushing, and you're going to defend. A lot of the fights are being dictated by Na'Vi. They have more explosive heroes, more aggressive heroes. And to be honest, they kill people a lot quicker. We haven't seen a smoke gank from Lion just yet. I think they tried on the bot lane, but obviously we saw Havos, you know, dispelling the smoke, killing Courier, things like that. They just need a successful smoke gank and maybe open the map a little bit more up and then take those tier 1s at mid and top respectively.
I think that would help a lot, definitely. But I don't know if they can. It's going to be so tough. I mean, Na'Vi has so many items already farmed up. Their gold advantage is huge, 7,500. The XP advantage is only slightly there, but the gold is going to make all the difference, especially with combo heroes like this. I mean, I think, you know what their best strat might be is just killing Funnick at the start of the fight. He's not a tanky Darkseer like is normal. He just has Blink Dagger and a Magic Stick. I mean, that's it.
Right, but are you killing him because he has a Blink Dagger, though?
I think you should, honestly. If you
I mean,
stop
can
his
you
combo,
kill him? That's my question, because he's going to stay on the back line, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, for him.
Just like snipe him. That's it.
Okay. Well,
I
mean, it goes to shows you how Zenith could maybe approach a team fight, maybe smoke and then wrap around behind and catch Funnick in the background. and then say, hey man, you just lost your Darkseer, let's take the 5-5 That is a possibility, but finding him at first and making that smoke not apparent to Na'Vi is going to be hard. Meanwhile, we're going to see Roshan happening, and Dendi, well, that's a free Aegis on him.
Yep, Crow's going to try to slow down the mid lane, and he will catch a bunch of the creeps. Can he deny this is the question. It's going to be close. The birds come down, and they get the last hit. Nicely done.
Yep.
Shadow Fiend picks up the Aegis, TPs the mid lane, and grabs some more souls, and the bats will be resummoned. So,
I mean, these are really poor trades that Zenith is going for, but at least they're getting something in return. I think opening up the map a little bit more makes your gank a little bit successful. And I think Zenith is in it for the long game, right? They're farming Yamate, which, by the way, I imagine he needs a BKB. He's in the same dilemma this game. I think he needs both BKB and Shiva's Guard to be effective, but he might just go for Scythe of Ice first.
He does still have his Tranquil Boots, so his right click is going to be a little slow. But I think his Sheep is probably... He might... I think you're right, man. I think he actually does need a Shiva this time. Dendi's going to go find his solo hero. It's going to be Enigma. Actually almost raises him, but Malefice takes on him.
Malefice is just stopping his raise altogether. But, I mean, if you look at Yamate's like HP right now, he's less than 1,000 in a 19 minute of play, and he is by far the heaviest damage dealer, I guess, next to Gyrocopter. And he's gonna have a big target on his forehead. Like, he needs some survivability item. That Astro, that Force Staff alone is not gonna be enough.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to. Weaver's actually picked up a Perseverance as well, so this might be a
BKB Lincoln's
and
the strong
BKB.
Pinoy build.
How do you die? It's not possible.
Oh.
There's the Blink High Ground, there's the Vacuum, here comes the
God.
Requiem, they're ready to go. Black Hole's gonna stop a lot of it though, and Funnick taking a bunch of damage, gets bursted down. Dendi as well says, I guess I'll right click you guys while I die first, and that's the Aegis. XY might die to bugs, it's gonna be close, but they get killed. Dendi gonna try to blink away. No, he gets caught by the bats, and that is gonna be his death.
Wow.
Twice in a row, almost a kill from the Requiem.
That's amazing team fight here. Now Kuroki's the only person surviving. He's going to be juking to the left, and Yamate, where's the Astro? Oh, just a split second too late. Kuroki makes it back home, but back in the fight, that Black Hole, KY might be, you know, dying a couple of times on the off lane, but he is delivering it up.
Yeah. He definitely held that one together. If he didn't Black Hole those two guys, I mean, obviously it was way too greedy from Na'Vi to jump on the high ground and try to snag kills, but being able to Black Hole that and stop more damage output, kill the Darkseer, and then follow up with the Shadow Fiend twice was really sick play.
And of course, shout out to X3 for landing those Visage stuns immediately as then he comes back alive, because he could have definitely blinked back out if it wasn't on point. So Zenith picking up 4 kills. More importantly, they're pushing back out. They're farming their Ancient a little bit now. They're rewarding up outside the ground. Unfortunately, they don't get any big towers out of that particular engagement. They don't get the Roshan because it's all snagged up by Na'Vi already. But it's a much needed fight. They get a ton of EXP as well. Let's see if they could replicate that fight a couple of times, because the AoE is there. Gyro is a big, you know, carry at this point. That also puts him up to 2,500 gold. If he wants to pick up a helm right now, I think it's a decent item just to get the armor. Or if he wants to get more damage, like a Yasha Manta is not a bad choice either.
I feel like for Zenith's team fights to go well, though, it's going to force Na'Vi to group. Like, they don't have a Blink Dagger yet on Enigma. He is going to finish his BKB soon, but the only reason his Black Hole is so solid is because Na'Vi was like, oh, we'll just jump high ground and vacuum you to one small place where Shadow Fiend's going to ulti. And, hey, look, all of our heroes are really close together. That's the only reason that it went so well for them. So I feel like this game is mostly up to Na'Vi for making errors.
Well, we saw Fnatic EU make a ton of errors against Zenith, and Zenith was able to win a game off of that. Let's see if Ice will have the same carriness that his Alchemist did in the last game. He's still okay.
He got a Midas. I mean, he's pretty much.
He's
Alchemist.
not using the Midas. He just did in the camp, but he's always waiting for a Chen creep. Like, I honestly think that there was about 3-4 minutes of combined time of not using the Midas in this game for Ice.
That's a couple hundred gold points. So let's see what his GPM is. He's at 527, so he's actually behind Dendi here. So he definitely needs to catch up big time. Jakira's going to grab a kill on OD. Why is OD here?
I mean, this is not the first time where Yamate plays a little bit too aggressively. Last game, we saw him getting a little bit out of position as well. Again, he's playing as if he has buyback, and even though, does he have buyback right now? He does, but you can't make these early game mistake plays, not against a team as good as Na'Vi. And I think that's just a free invitation to the Rex.
Yeah, Navi's going to be going high ground. Not only do they have a double damage on Shadow Fiend, but they also have an Alpha Wolf. So this guy's hitting for 300 damage at the 20-minute mark. Absolutely
also, Ice got his TP canceled in the long lane, bot lane here.
Ooh,
he's going to get picked off. Ice
Path.
Path,
great Ice
perfect.
Path. The right clicks, he goes down. He cannot buy back as far. Yeah, he cannot.
That's Rax, right, on the mid lane, because the double damage of Dendi is going to shred this tower.
These poor creeps. Poor tower.
I mean, these are just questionable plays from Zenith right now, but
Yeah.
Tier 3 tower is still alive. There is a point of Liquefy from Kuroki. Thank you, my man. Because he's level 11 now. What a highly leveled Jakiro.
He's got phase boots. That should tell you what kind of game is going on right now.
Well, that's a sad one at that. Ooh, nice blink back out after the Astro. And Denny, no more double damage just yet, but he does have a Chrysalis. Definitely hitting very hard. There's a tier 3 going down. No buyback on anybody. There's a black hole available online, but they gotta get these creeps off the tower. The Shen creeps just being a big nuisance. Blink vacuum back in the wall. Where's the black hole? It's gonna hit on a couple, but there's a BKB Denny they gotta worry about. Huge AoE damage being bumped out, but they just don't kill anybody yet. And Denny's he's reigning supreme right now.
Man, no, I think that was a TP black hole from Enigma there because he doesn't have a blink dagger. Really solid disable.
Yeah.
And Lion followed it up with an Earth Spike, but it wasn't enough to kill anybody. Kuro's in, going to be chased here. Ice Train hits with Dendy, but Dendy can't handle this at all. Oh my gosh, he actually gets it. I think it was a crit or something. Ends up picking up the gyrocopter. He drops OD looking to clean up, and Havos is running for his life, but their melee racks is gone, and a bunch of heroes died once again, including Ice.
Man, Ice is just not tanky enough. He dies another time with Midas on CD. He needs something big. I hope that Demon Edge turns into a big sword because that's the only item to me that will carry them back in this game. Like they need a 3-4 man black hole, and then Ice just go to work with Flak Cannon.
They've been reliable so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they just needed the damage output to be there. Dendy couldn't do anything to the Enigma. He tried raising him, and then he's like, okay, he's got a blacking bar, so I guess I'll just kill a Lion instead.
And then he doesn't right-click that hard and such that Enigma melts in 3 hits. Because Enigma's got a mech as well, so like he's actually doing quite well for his team. So I think Ice need to carry the team really, really hard right now. Because MKB is not going to do it, right? Are we on agreement with that?
MKB could maybe do it with perfect circumstances, I think.
With like a perfect Midnight Pulse on a 4-man black hole, something like that?
Maybe not Midnight Pulse, but there's a Hex on Havos actually. Ice coming forward. There's the stun next, and an easy pickup.
Nice.
That's why he needs a Lincoln's, actually, because sometimes you're going to see the support here come too fast. That was with a smoke, so Force Staff from the OD on the line gives an instant disable from the Hex. So really nice gank there. That was really well done.
Well, that's what I said earlier. You need to make those smoke ganks on your support, especially on the line, because he thrives on killing low HP heroes like that. Well, they don't have the Finger of Death, but they're thinking about making yet another play. I think you can, in theory, kill Puppy, although he's quite far away from the engagement point.
And Phonic's very close to a Sheepstick of his own, so it's not like the only disables that exist in the game are going to be there.
Actually, that's a huge pickup, right? Because right now they're relying on things like Ice Path and then vacuuming into the Ice Path. That's cute and all, but it's not really reliable. But in about 700 gold, Phonic's going to have that Scythe. And when you have a Blink with the Scythe, like it's Queen of Pain action. It's easy pickoffs.
And Hex is finished for the Outworld Devourer, so things get really scary now.
Well, for Yamate, because...
And Puppy getting spotted. But
remember last game he had the Scythe for like 10 minutes and he never used it because he always got initiated on? So Yamate should be very, very careful. Especially, again, this game is worth so much for Zenith. You don't want to go into day 2 saying your score is 2-4. Like, that is just a really bad way to start. You know, if you say, you know what, we won 3-3 against, I guess...
one of the best teams.
Yeah, it's not bad in terms of a confident booster. And for Na'Vi, this game will put them at 4-2 if they win. Here comes a 2-man smoke. Ice does have his ultimate. The big difference is they're running into a lot of Na'Vi heroes. They gotta be very careful.
Puppy also has his sendback. He's also got a heal and a mech, so things could be scary. I love their positioning here. They're going to be able to see the heroes coming, and it's going to be Funnick as well as Chen, and they say, oh man, 2 heroes. Nope, let's go.
Oh, Blink, Vac. Oh, the Vac's going to miss.
Big whiff from Funnick there. And they might chase into this, actually. They surge forward. The Centaur going to try to land the stun. And
Hex the Centaur.
Look at that. Look at that little frog.
And then it moves so slowly. Yamate.
Oh, the stun. It lands. Will they be able to grab him? They use the Test of Faith Force Staff to get him out. He's going to find Ice Path, catches him. Dual Breath, Macro Pyre. Look at the damage. Ice drops at the wall on top of it. No way he'll survive that one. And Havost on the other side cleans up more heroes. Guess who wasn't even there? Dendy. He was actually fighting top a bit. Dueling with Ice and the Enigma. Is he going to go back in?
I mean, they're going to go for Ice, but I mean, what was that by Yamate? He had a free Force Staff to get out. He decides to hit the Centaur instead.
Yeah, it was very
And guess what
peculiar.
the Centaur's gonna do? He's gonna hit you back with a stomp in the face. And now Puppy's gonna say, let's go high ground, guys. We got creeps on the mid lane. Dendi says, guys, wait for me. I want to be part of the victory too. He's slowly lumbering back in, but Glyph gets draw out a little bit. And here comes a big team fight. You know, XY's been on point with those black hole. He needs a big one, and he needs it now.
No. Just a 4-staff on Jakiro. That's it. Little Malefice here. Missiles coming through as well. And they want to try to take another Rax, but I think they might just get the range, and they will. So Dendi takes that one out for 350. He's again on the same build. So BKB Blink treads into a Daedalus. So not favoring the Manta style as much.
Yeah.
Daedalus definitely gives you a lot more damage output, that's for sure. But the movement speed and the attack speed can be useful sometimes on Shadow Fiend when you grab a Manta. So
I think this game, when there is a gyrocopter, you know, your Manta Illusion is not going to be as survivable. And of course, there's an OT ultimate. There's just way too much AoE to really make it work. So he's like, you know what? Let's just right-click hard, which he's definitely doing right now. This is one big team fight. They have a blink on their Enigma. There's nothing just yet. Meanwhile, the Funnic Invis on the back line, and this could be the perfect team fight. Dendi is baiting for all his life because he's got the BKB. He doesn't care. The Ray of Stun is coming right on to trying to nuke him down. Where's the finger? Got to drop it on him. All line dies before casting all of his spells. And there you go. Ice is trying to right-click for all of his worth. He's dropping low. His BKB is going to be running out right about now as well. And Dendi, huge Requiem. The Black Hole not going to do too much. Oh no, the Black Hole came after the gyrocopter died, and Yamate is he doing enough? Not even close. This is going to be a team wipe.
that is 5 dead heroes there for Zenith. Dendi ends up coming back after losing his Aegis. He was completely ready for that, though. That's why he was so aggressive. He blinked right in their face. He said, come, guys, throw your stuns at me. Throw your nukes at me. I want you to burn them down. I'll come back up, pop my BKB, and win this team fight. And that's exactly what happened.
Pavo finished the Lincoln Sphere in the enemy fountain. That's always a kind of a swag way to do
sign.
it.
Yeah.
And Navi is going to take the second lane of Rats, and we'll be finishing today with a record of 4-2. We expected Navi to go 6-0, but
Did we say that?
I mean, I don't think we said it, but in a group where they don't play against Tongfu, they don't play against Alliance. These are the two kind of the other heavy favorites in the group. You gotta actually start out with a really good score, right? Because tomorrow they're gonna be playing really good teams.
Yeah, that's definitely true. They're doing better than last year. That's for darn sure.
Well, that's true. That is definitely true. They get to finish on a positive record today.
So very good for them. Not so good for Zenith. Zenith's going to be taking a 2-4. Not that this game is over yet. That is, guys.
Now this game's over. Let's be honest here, Purge.
I mean, there's over a 99% chance that this game is over. But here's a BKB going in once more. Ice in trouble. Can he cast anything? No, he gets picked off by Dendi. More right clicks. That was their carry, guys. Didn't even use his BKB. A big crit on Enigma as well as they're pursuing him, and that is probably going to end the game. I mean, it's not over yet. Okay, now it's 100% over.
Now it's officially over.
4-2 for Navi. Zenith is going to take it 2-4. Really well played by Navi. The only team they had trouble with, Fnatic. And Fnatic had trouble with Zenith. Is that correct? Did they go 1-1 against Zenith? I believe so, right?
Yes, they quote-unquote threw that Aegis advantage away.
Who's better? I don't know, man.
Oh, come on. Fnatic, maybe a slight inexperience, particularly. I mean, we saw Navi, quote-unquote, made a mistake this game as well, where they just waltzed into the high ground and got 4-man black hole.
That was them dicking around, I'm pretty sure.
Right, you could argue that Fnatic was dicking around as well.
Well, so that's going to be it for that 2-game set. That was Navi versus Zenith. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, we have one more match left over. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. But before that, any token insight here from our resident pro?
Well, Shadow Fiend does it again versus Outworld Devour, coming out way ahead on CS, doing much better in the match, although he did have the Harpy help him this time. But I'm surprised that Zenith went with a very similar draft. They didn't ban out the Shadow Fiend even though they picked out OD, even though Shadow Fiend did very well last game. They didn't pick any early roamers. Lion is okay, he's a stunner, but it's only like 1 second stun at level 1. You really want like a 2-second stun, like Leshrac or Sven or anything like that, or Shadow Demon, so you can set up for it, so that you can roam early on the Shadow Fiend. If he just gets free farm like that and gets easy items, he's just such a pain in the butt to deal with, especially when they put out a lot of early pressure with the Chen. I think that Puppy did a really good job just securing like the first 5 or 6 minutes for them, with the Harpy in the mid and then with the Wild Wing pushing down 2 towers on bottom. That just really set the pace of the game and just paved the way for Dendi to crush with Shadow Fiend. And they gave away Darkseer again too. You don't really want to give Darkseer to Funnic unless you get something good in return. It just seemed like the draft wasn't too strong. They like somewhat felt like confident they could handle the same lineup, but clearly they could not.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty tough for them. I mean, it was way different than the first game. The first game looked scary. The second game was like all Navi in control, essentially.
Yeah, and I just don't think Zenith could start out the game being in a deficit and try to come back.
Yeah.
They had some decent AoE team fights. We never saw what Ice wanted to get with his 3,000 gold. It didn't matter, it seems like, because he never could actually get that attack off. It was Ice Path on like blank, and then Blink Vacuum on the top. That's like an instant initiation. And they also had Scythe, so it didn't really matter what he was going to get.
Yeah, once they get BKB on important heroes, OD just becomes useless.
Yep.
If you astral yourself, you're going to die right after because your team's usually forced to run and you're left alone, and he just can't do he can't do anything. The hero is weird in that he like gets countered by BKB, but he also kind of needs one too because if SF blinks in your face and BKBs, there's absolutely nothing you can do. If you astral, he'll just wait and then Requiem you in the face, and like if you force that away, you pretty much are still going to be useless in the fight because you can't really do anything else. So, I mean, OD's strong, but he's just strong in the laning phase, and most of the time it's somewhat enough, but not versus a Shadow Fiend who can catch up. I mean, that was like the main thing that stood out to me. Most of the other picks were pretty standard. Darkseer, we see a lot. Weaver, Chen, Gyrocopter, nothing too special. I think they also picked Lion to try and counter Havost, but they had so many other things they had to deal with, like Kuroki was always in good position for nice ice pass. They had the early pushing power from Chen. They had a team fight from Darkseer. There were just too many aspects for them to handle because Navi is a pretty deep team. Havost creates a lot of space. Sometimes he carries and farms. Dendi always puts out a lot of pressure on mid. Puppy and Kuroki just do a fantastic job in team fights. It's really difficult to just focus on one thing and hope you can win from there.
All right, so that was it for that set. That was Navi versus Zenith. Navi ends up taking it 2-0. We have one more set left for today. I think, could we take a look at the group standings before we go to a break?
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. What is our next game that's coming up? I think it's IG LGD Int, I think.
That sounds really good.
Yep.
That is correct.
IG versus LGD Int. So, I think IG's opponent today, it felt like the people they were supposed to beat, they did. So they beat Rattlesnake. They lost to Alliance, which I think there was some pause involved, maybe, perhaps, with that one.
I can just imagine Phenol when he pressed the button.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Phenol is like the most amazing, nice guy. I don't know if he just
he's a really
mispressed,
cool guy.
but that's a big loss if it really came down. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know exactly what's the detail. But actually, let's look at our groups here. Fnatic EU 4-1. I guess they're playing their another match. DK finishes the day with 5-1.
Ooh,
very impressive.
So Tongfu loses one. That means the only team that can remain undefeated is Alliance. And they are the team that could do it out of everybody.
IG is supposed to take that one win again from them, but Fino says Team USA. So Alliance got to win. No, I'm just joking on that. But I think the biggest storyline from the left side of the bracket, at least for me, is LGD China going 3-3. Did anybody expect that?
Fnatic going 4-1 is a bigger story to me.
Well, also, nobody counted Dignitas going forward, too, right?
That's true. That's probably the most surprising stat.
Yeah.
More so than LGD. I mean, LGD is obviously one of the best Chinese teams, but we saw how they did in Alienware Cup. They did mediocre.
So are they going to be on the meteoric rise?
I could see them going very deep in the tournament. I'm not even worried for them, despite liking them as a team. I'm sure they'll be fine.
I mean, the thing about Alienware Cup, the difference between Alienware Cup and TI3 is that Alienware Cup, you come out in the loser's bracket, you're playing best of threes.
Yeah.
And right now you're playing best of ones. Like, do you want to be in a best of one against Virtus Pro?
Definitely not.
Right, so it's just, I don't know.
Hitting top 4 is going to be tough. Dignitas, that's seriously impressive. That's like CLG last year, relatively. In my eyes, like, I didn't see them going 4-2. I thought they would be at the bottom.
They started the day 0-2 against Team DK. It was like 0-18 stomps or whatever. And I think a lot of people, even the believers, just like, all right, maybe we're just delusional. And then they come back 4-0, so...
Who did they play against the other matches? Anybody know? It's probably a shot in the dark here. All right, nobody knows. That's fine.
There's the MEFC.
All right, they 2-0'd MUFC.
All right, I'm going to look it up right now.
Is that correct? Is that what it was? So they beat Maus and MUFC.
All right, so they play against DK. They lost against them. They play against MEFC, and they 2-0'd them. And they also 2-0 LGD China.
LGD China? Okay, you can't.
Damn.
That is nothing to complain about. That's
right.
a solid. That's an absolutely solid 2-0. So they still have to play Zenith, Mouse Sports,
and Navi,
and Fnatic.
Yep. Actually, tomorrow on the Beyond the Summit stream, we're going to be casting a lot of Dignitas. We're going to have Dignitas versus Mouse. We're going to have Dignitas versus Zenith. We have Dignitas versus Navi. So,
Dang.
are they the real thing, or are
We'll
they
find
hoax?
out tomorrow,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But the matches that they have to play tomorrow are not going to be necessarily easy.
Yep.
So,
You know the
but it
big
is
match
Mouse
tomorrow?
Zenith. What is it?
Tongfu versus Alliance.
That's going to be a huge.
We're casting that as well. We also have Tongfu LGD in and Tongfu IG.
That's great. I'm excited.
I'm
man.
excited as well.
Dota.
But what about today? Today we have IG versus LGD in. Any predictions before we take a break? Quickly.
IG versus LGD Int. A
rematch of the G League LAN finals.
I'm gonna say 1-1, but I'm leaning
Ooh, that's-
vaguely towards IG 2-0.
No faith on IG. All right.
I just said slight faith to IG. I said I
But
gave
that's
them
1-1.
I gave them
though.
a point. What are you talking about? No faith?
No.
Come on.
If you have faith on IG, you say 2-0 IG. No
I mean,
question.
faith is on IG, but
Right. I guess. Ben Wu
IG 2-0.
2-0. Are you betting rares?
I would if the bots were working, but
Y-
I've had trouble betting all day.
Go talk
so
to your
I-
boss,
It's
man.
too much. It's too much.
how many
trouble.
rares do you have net today?
Net? I didn't win the Fnatic one, so
Nobody
probably
did, don't
probably
worry.
like -4, I think.
Oh dang.
4 today.
You're a loser.
I
No,
know.
guys,
I only
nobody
lost
take
one,
his
though.
advice
It's okay.
anymore. Come on.
Yeah.
Obviously he's a fraud.
Yeah, for
So-
me 2-0 IG. Easy.
Easy.
rares.
Ooh.
Easy
Easy.
rares. I mean, no.
I would have bet
disres-
more on IG, but I can't bet on the ones that I really want to bet on. I want to
You,
bet on
you
IG.
saw LGD International.
Yeah,
Shadow Blade.
They owned with Batrider, but I mean that's not an accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a short break right now, and we'll come back with IG versus LGD International, our last best of two in this long and grueling day. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll be back momentarily.